Laws of Exponents 4.3, worksheet number 3. I'm not going to really help you with 1 through 3. They are all one-step problems. For all 3 of them, there are no parentheses in the numerator, no parentheses in the denominator, which means the only operation to perform on all 3 of them is division. And remember, division is where you do your cross-out stuff. All right, for number 3, I am going to do part of it with you. Okay, so for number 3, I'm going to start, pull up my calculator here, with the coefficients. Remember, when you're doing this, you want to use the fraction button. Now for the calculator, I want to show you something. If I already had an answer in the calculator, okay, and if I go to hit, remember the negative and the minus sign are the same thing on the calculator. If I go to hit negative 18 to put it in, see how it gives you, what it's doing is it's taking the previous answer minus whatever you're about to put in. So on the calculators here at school, you don't ever have to clear the screen because the negative and the minus button are different. But on the iPad calculator, if you're going to use it, always clear the screen before you put any negative numbers in. So I'm going to put in negative 18 over negative 27. The calculator gives you the decimal. Remember to press the button beside the equal sign, and that changes it back to the fraction of 2/3. Since the fraction is 2/3, that means the 18 is where I would put the 2. And on the bottom, in the denominator, is where I put the 3. For your A terms, you have the exact same thing on top and bottom. When you have the exact same thing in the numerator and the exact same thing in the denominator, then they just cancel. In other words, this answer will have no A term in it. The only thing left for you to divide are the B terms, because there's only one C in the numerator, there's a D in the denominator, an E in the denominator, and then an F in the numerator. Each one of those 4 at the end, they're only in either the numerator or the denominator, so you can't divide them. The only thing that has both a variable in the numerator and denominator is your B terms, so you would divide those. All right, so you're going to finish this problem. Remember, B to the 3rd is the smaller, so you would take and subtract. So you're going to find out what the new exponent will be for the B, and then write your final answer down. Remember, whatever is on top stays on the top. Whatever's on the bottom will stay on the bottom. Again, whatever's in the numerator stays in the numerator for your answer. Whatever's in the denominator will stay in the denominator. So this will be a fraction answer. This will be a fraction answer. So will number 1. Okay, so you're going to finish number 3, and you're going to do 1 and 2 also. And again, you do those the same. You're doing just division. So let's go to number 4. For number 4, I can't divide because I've got parentheses in the numerator. And the parentheses that are in the numerator show multiplication. So I need to multiply the top. So if I multiply, first I'm going to take 6 times negative 8. That gives me negative 48. So down here, draw my fraction bar. Negative 48. The only variable term that is in both parentheses, both monomials, is the x term. I have an x to the 7th, and I have an x to the 1st. So when you are multiplying, you add exponents. So 7 plus 1 would give me x to the 8th. This y to the 12th, it's the only y term in the numerator, so I just bring it down. And the same thing with the z to the 2nd. There's only one z term in the numerator, so I just bring it down. There was nothing to do in the denominator, so I'm just going to rewrite it. Negative 36, w to the 10th, x to the 1st, y to the 7th. And now we're ready to divide. So now we're ready to do the same exact steps as we did for 1 through 3, starting with our coefficients. So let me clear out the screen, put in negative 48 over negative 36. Gives me a decimal, so I change it back to a fraction. So I'm going to get the fraction 4/3. So negative 48 going to make that the 4. Negative 36 is where I'd put the 3. All right. The only terms that are in both the numerator and the denominator are your x and y. So x to the first has the smaller exponent. So you will subtract and find your exponent for the x term. And then you will do the same thing for your y term. Y to the 7th is smaller, so you will subtract to find your new y. After you divide, you rewrite it for your final answer. So on top, I have 4 x, y, z. The z is to the 2nd. So you need to figure out what these are. Put those answers there and there. And then on the bottom, we have 3w to the 10th. So you need to finish that problem yourself. Okay? If you have any questions on 1 through 4, please let me know.